bonjour à vous, membres de Baseball Québec. Simplement vous dire que Houston est un fier partenaire des manches supplémentaires qui va donner un coup de pouce à tous les bénévoles pour partir l'année 2021 en feu.
Bonsoir tout le monde. Ça me fait encore une fois très plaisir de vous retrouver ce soir pour cette quatrième conférence de la semaine de Baseball Québec OSE 2020. Donc, jusqu'à date, j'espère que vous n'avez pas raté les trois premières. Sinon, si vous les avez ratées, je vous encourage fortement à aller les regarder en différé. On a parlé lundi de Baseball 5 avec notre ami de la Fédération française de baseball. On a parlé avec Matt Keita des Indians de Cleveland mardi pour parler de leur implication, parler du développement de l'athlète aussi. Hier, conférence fort intéressante avec Ludovic de la Fédération française de soccer football, où on a parlé des compétences de vie. Aujourd'hui, on se retrouve du côté du Japon pour parler de baseball féminin et demain, on va se retrouver également au pays des Vikings pour parler de développement de l'athlète, mais dans un autre sport, donc celui du hockey. Alors, une fois, bienvenue. Je veux quand même, avant de commencer, juste remercier pour que ça fonctionne, des soirées comme celle-là, on a toujours des gens qui sont derrière l'écran, donc Jean-François puis Pascal, quand tu es là tout le long cette semaine, je voulais les remercier en votre nom pour leur travail qu'ils ont fait. La présentation de ce soir va être en japonais. Non, c'est pas vrai. Va être en anglais. Alors, comme je vous disais, sans plus tarder, on va plonger dans le sujet d'aujourd'hui. Donc, aujourd'hui, vous voyez ma carte que j'utilise de temps en temps en arrière. On est là. On s'en va complètement de l'autre côté. On traverse en Asie. On s'en va au Japon pour rencontrer Hiroko. Et pour ceux qui ne le savent pas, c'est demain déjà au Japon. Donc, il est 10 heures demain matin. Vendredi 13, dans leur cas. On n'est pas encore rendu là, mais on s'en vient dans cette direction-là, nous autres aussi. Alors, dans mon cerveau, je vais changer pour l'anglais maintenant. So I'm switching to English, so you can understand me, Hiroko. You can turn your microphone on. I was just explaining that we're going to have the presentation in Japanese, which is not true. It's going to be in English, but they're going to have the translation to French at the bottom of their screen there. So in Japanese, because it's morning, we say "Ohayo gozaimasu." So I'm telling you good morning to you in your language. Just to introduce a little bit, Hiroko and I met back in 2004, I believe. Yeah, that was the first year of the World Cup that we had in Edmonton. Yep. And since then, we stayed in contact. So Hiroko was the kind of the director of the team. I don't know the official title that she had, but maybe she can explain it later on. And that time I was the head coach of the Canadian teams. And over the years, we developed a good relationship where she was able to come with her team in Granby, Quebec, back in 2009 and 2013 to play a series of games against Team Canada and I think we had a team from the USA one year. So she had to enjoy Tim Horton and all those great others restaurant in Granby. So thank you so much, Hiroko, for being with us. For those watching at home, so we've been rivals for 15 years on the field, but really good friends off the field. Japan, for those of you who are not following women's baseball. So Japan is 6-time world champions. So that started in 2008, where they won their first World Cup, and they haven't lost since. So I've tried to figure that out, but I wasn't able to figure it out. So we had good games against Japan, but fantastic team over the years. And that's what we want to try to figure out tonight is, why are they so good? So we're going to try to ask the good questions and try to get their secret tonight. So without further ado, Hiroko, so I kind of gave a quick introduction about yourself. I'll let you speak a little bit about you, because I think you have a nice pathway into baseball. So why don't you explain to people watching, like, how you got where you are, what's your role with the Japanese Baseball Federation, and especially also with women's baseball.
Okay. Bonsoir, madame, mademoiselle, monsieur. Je m'appelle Hiroko Yamada. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. I'm so happy and excited to talk about women's baseball in Japan. First of all, like Andrea mentioned, I would like to introduce a little bit of myself. Um, I actually never ever played baseball. And after I have been engaging for over how many years being in baseball, I still sometimes don't understand the rules. Players tease me all the time, but my role is different. I have a different background, and I bring the different opinions and ideas from the different angles. I think that is good sometimes for baseball industry because they only think about baseball, which is good, but sometimes they need some different, you know, how do you say, different ideas and different, you know, breeze.
Perspective,
Yep, yep,
perspective.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yep, thank you, Andrea. I need that. And and I have been in a movie industry, and it's totally different industry, but it helps me what I should change in baseball and what I should respect for baseball. Anyway, and then because there are not so many bilingual people in the Japanese baseball industry, I was very lucky because I speak some English, so they put me in several positions, which makes me come to this. Okay, that's the introduction of myself. Like Andre and I have been a really good friend for a long, long time. Sometimes we argue on the field. Sometimes we like I really trust Andre, and he helped me so much, and he helped baseball globally, women's baseball especially.
Rocco, you're on mute.
Someone,
Yeah. Yeah.
okay,
You're okay. Yeah.
it was a very important part, but okay. Yeah, yeah, and I have been trying to contribute women's baseball as much as possible, and I'm so happy to talk about women's baseball about Japan today.
And Yoroko is really modest because she's also the chair, and it's quite important. She's also the chair of the Women's Commission for the World Baseball Softball Confederation. So she's basically in charge of making those decisions regarding important decisions about the development of women's baseball in the world. So we're really fortunate to have her as a lead, as a chair, as a leader to help us navigate through the growth of the discipline in different countries. She's helped many countries over the years to implement women's baseball in their countries, and she's done lots of work in that area of the game as well. So that's quite important to mention. And yeah, so our role with the WBSC is quite important on that front. So let's dive into it right away, Iroko. So I'd like to know, and I know a little bit, but I think I'm going to learn a lot from you tonight. But I want you to explain the structure. Let's talk about the structure, how it's organized, women's baseball or baseball in general, but especially women's baseball in your country. So we can understand a little bit better how it started. Like, is it recent? Like, is there a long history, and where it is right now, and how the different blocks are put together, so we have a better understanding.
Okay.
And you can share your screen if you want, if you have something to share.
Sure, of course, of course. Okay, let me share the screen. There we go. Okay. Okay, I am happy to talk about current status of women's baseball in Japan. And I'm not going to talk about all the history of our, women's baseball in Japan, but we have over 100 years of history, and it started in 1902. And started in Kyoto, very small school, but it gets very popular. They use tennis ball, and and then it catches the girls' attention and it gets popular and popular. But in 20 years, the governor of one state prefecture said, girls baseball, no way, and they banned it, and there were no more women's baseball in by 1926. But after that, there was the influence of league of their own in the states, and that news came to Japan, and the girls got excited, and we want to do the same, and we started the first ever women's pro league in 1950 with starting with 4 teams, and then it became so popular, and I think it was over 20 teams were under the pro league back in that time. The company actually owned the teams, and company uses the women's baseball team as a PR force. The girls team travel around Japan, handling the flyers of the company and products, sampling there and everything, and getting a questionnaire. So it was a marketing tools, and then it gets a good result, and because of the girls team got popular, the product got popular too. So it was perfect. But because of the TV was introduced and TV was spread everywhere, the company started using TV for PR, and they cut the cost, cut the budget for women's team. And then by 1971, that's the year of Andre Lachance was born, I guess. Oops. Okay, all the teams, actually the leagues finished, unfortunately. But after that, there are so many players, parents, coaches, teachers, community never give up. Even though the pro league was finished, there are the passion there, and people started working. Everybody put together their effort and convinced the federations. So the 1987, the Japan Rubber Ball Federation, I will talk about rubber ball and hardball later, but the Japan Rubber Ball Federation is the biggest organization in Japan. They accepted girls players. That was a key in our history, and that started more and more, increasing more and more girls players to play baseball. And then after that, we got high school teams. It started 5 teams. I think it was 1997. 4 high schools started the baseball team. And now we got over 40 high school in Japan who has the baseball teams. So I think everything started from nothing. But like I said, parents, players, community supported each other, convinced the community, and started a little by little, and now what we have. And then 2004, like Andre mentioned, we have first Women's Baseball World Cup. That is very, very encouraging for players. And that's the stage for all the girls to actually aim at. That was very encouraging. And then we got 2008, we got the first gold medal in Matsuyama at the 3rd of Women's Baseball World Cup. I think that time Canada beat us one of the game. Andre, right? No, in Matsuyama, yes.
No, that was 2006. I remember. That was the only time.
Okay. All right. And then we have more and more teams join our federation, and we have a good program right now. And then let me talk about the balls. I mentioned rubber ball. Okay. Some people might be surprised. We have 2 different balls, major balls in Japan, and 85% of Japanese baseball population, doesn't matter man or woman, uses rubber ball. And only 50% of players use the real hardball baseball. For men, I think 90% of men player will probably uses rubber ball. So rubber ball is actually majority the players who uses, who play baseball with. So the reason why is because many of the parents and teachers, coaches recommend rubber ball when they were around at age of U20 for safety reasons. It's safer, it's lighter, it's smaller, and it's easier to start with. And many of the players stay with the rubber ball. But if they want to play like professional level or high performance level, they automatically change from rubber ball to hard ball at the age of either 15 or 18, because that's the time they need to change to be a professional. Andre, go ahead.
Yeah, I'll ask a question here. So for those of you watching right now, like this is a shocker because that's not something that that you have anticipated. I knew about it, but if you're watching this presentation tonight, you would probably not expect that 85% of the baseball being played in Japan is using a rubber ball. And the rubber ball, there's different types of rubber ball. And the main brand in Japan is called Kenko.
Yep.
And there's different, I would say, some of them are smoother than others. So there's different, I'm looking for my word in English here, but there's different, en français, on dit différentes fermetés. So I switched to French, it was easier.
Yes.
So depending on the age group, they can use the one that is more appropriate for them. That said, do you know, maybe you don't know the answer, but when they switch from rubber ball to hard ball, is it difficult for some of them to make that adjustment? Do you know that?
There was a ball between rubber ball and hard ball, and at the age of 15 or before 15, the girls, boys, they started using that ball to get adjusted. Or most of the players, they don't really feel difficulties to change, to switch. But sometimes
I guess it's not too difficult because like whether you're looking at the men's side or on the women's side of things regarding international baseball, like Japan has won the World Baseball Classic before. They've dominated the women's side for the last 12 years now. So I'm guessing that the transition is not that difficult. So it's really, really interesting. I'll let you continue.
Okay. Yep. So, but the teachers, coaches sometimes have to be careful from the transition time. But usually there's no problem. Okay. So rubber ball is the majority of the balls that used in Japan. Now I'm going to talk about the population of women's baseball in Japan. So like you can say, 85% of women's baseball players are using rubber ball. And good thing is U12, we got 11,000 players and it's expanding. It's increasing every year. So we see this as a great sign because the bottom is expanding, which is good. And when we ask them why they started baseball, is most of the time because their brothers played. And then the second is because they want to be a professional or they want to earn the money through women's baseball. So environment is very, very important. I will talk about the federation structure and stuff later on. And you can see the U15, we got 3,800 and, we got U18 college. We have a different categories and rubber ball, hard ball. And you can see the U18 hard ball got 971, which is quite a good number. And high school baseball is so popular. For men, we have Koshien. I don't know if you know about Koshien, but girls Koshien is also getting very, very popular. So
for those of you who don't know, Koshien is probably the biggest high school tournament probably in the world right now for high school players. It's huge. It's really popular on TV and everything. So if you ever have a chance to travel to Japan, and if you cannot catch a Japan Professional League game, coaching will be like the second best thing to go and attend for sure. Great baseball.
Yep, thank you. And so we have over 21,000 women's baseball player in Japan right now. Okay. Oops. Oh, sorry. Okay, this is the structure of our federation. We got WBSC on the top, and then we belong to the Baseball Federation of Asia. Then above us, we have Baseball Federation of Japan, which is National Federation. And then we got Women's Baseball Federation of Japan, which is under BFJ. And WBFJ is working as like women's division of our national federation. Does it make sense? Yep. And then under our WBFJ, we have youth division, U18 high school division, and university division, and club team, corporate team divisions. We will probably divide club teams and corporate teams anytime soon, maybe next year. Because
can you quickly explain what is a corporate team?
Sure. We have on your left hand side we have Women's Pro League, which is not under our federation, and then for the corporate teams, company actually own the team, and they get paid by company, and they can play baseball, but they have to work maybe in the morning or in the afternoon, either in the morning and either in the afternoon, and then they can practice vice versa. So it's like semi-professional, I would say. Some companies, let me introduce one company who owns the women's baseball team is security company. So they work as a security person in the daytime, and then the nighttime they practice, baseball. So a lot of companies are now think women's baseball is good for their employment, which is good, yeah.
And which is totally different than the structure we have here. So what you're saying is that some of the best athletes are working as a security agent during the day. They go and practice baseball like late afternoon, evening, weekends, and they have a job and they can still continue to practice the game, the sport they love. So which is a fantastic idea.
Yeah, and then we have Gold Gym. I don't know if there is
yes,
Gold.
Yeah.
Yep. So the Gold Gym in Japan, they also have a women's baseball team, and all the players are working as an instructor, physical instructor at the gym in daytime or at nighttime, and they practice when they were off duty.
Interesting. Can you just elaborate on your pro league? How many teams? Like, what's the structure a little bit?
Oh, for the pro league, okay. There are 4 teams, actually 3 teams, and one is how do you call it? Incubating team, the developing team. And we are not sure what kind of activities they are doing right now. I will talk about it later in this presentation. So hold on for that. So that's the our amateur side, the structure of federation. Okay, now activities. We have regional league. Okay, we have currently we have 2 leagues established. That was the Circle 1, Circle 2, which is called Venus League, supported by Tokyo Giants, which is a men's professional baseball league. And then the second is Lucky League. It's also supported by another NPB team. we are very good term with the men's professional teams, and they are very, very supportive for women's baseball, which is really, really good for us. So for the teams who are located in those areas, they have a leagues. They have a league, and they on the weekend they have a regular games. It's a mixed teams. I mean mixed league. So if you're a high school team, you you belong to the area league, and then also you belong to the high school federation. So you play for the league on weekends, and a certain time league stops, and then the high school national championship like Koshien, you participated to that nationals. So we have nationals and leagues. Go ahead, Angela.
I have one question.
Go.
One participant is asking how many athletes or how many teams are going to Cochin for the women's side?
Um, Last year we canceled. This year we canceled, but we expected 35.
Wow.
Almost all the teams now can go because we can accommodate all the teams because it's only 40 something teams compared to men's high school is over 4,000 school has a baseball team, so they have to have a qualifier in each divisions, each areas. But for women's we only got 40, so we can accommodate all the teams coming to
I have another question. I don't know if it's timely now or not, and I don't want to put you on the spot also, but I'm wondering what's the relationship between your federation, especially the women's side, and softball in Japan? Like, is there a fight, or is
Nope.
there they just don't care about each other, or what's happening?
We're very good friends. We're also talking about exchanging the players right now because softball people are, to be honest, a little bit concerned about men's professional league is supporting us, so they feel a little bit, worried
Yeah.
maybe.
Yeah.
And the NPB team already started two NPB teams already started women's team, which is like Real Madrid made a women's soccer team, right? So we were doing the same thing. We're trying to do the same thing. We're convincing NPB team to have a women's team, like sister team, and two NPB team agreed already. In one is Hanshin Tigers. They announced that they are gonna have a women's team next year, from next year, and one is Seibu Lions. They already have that team. Like Sato is actually in the Seibu Lions right now. So softball, of course, feel, that
Yeah.
we collaborate, and we will probably make some regulations like softball player can play to baseball, baseball can go to softball. We also talk about the joint national team training camp. So we're in a good term.
Interesting. Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Thank you for that. I'll let you keep going.
Okay. So we have two regional leagues established, and then we have 4 areas who wants to have the regional league next year. And some of the area is also supported by NPB team who is located in the same area. So which is exciting. And then, like I said, besides the regional league, we have category like U15, high school, college, and club team, corporate team. We have 15 U national in spring and summer and fall 3 times a year. And then we have high school national, spring and summer. And then college national, spring and fall. And then club team nationals, only 1 time. Then we have national championship, which is top 8 high school teams. The winner of high school nationals go to this national championship. And then 6 of college, the winner of top 6 of the college nationals, and 18 qualified club teams. Club teams, we got over 30 teams. So they have a qualifier in each region. and 18 teams can participate the national championship and decide number one amateur queen. Then we also have a Japan Cup, which is top 4 high school teams, top 2 college and club team, and 3 professional teams compete each other and decide number one team of women's baseball in Japan, which is very popular right now. Oops. Okay, now why, I'm always asked why women's baseball in Japan is so developed, and I have been always thinking because in 20 years ago, we have nothing. And we are looking back why we become at this stage. There are some keys. And maybe one thing is, of course, Japan baseball is like national sport for Japan. Everybody loves it. And doesn't matter man or female. If you say I'm a baseball player, people respect you. That's how popular baseball is in here. So that's basically, we're very fortunate because we're in that environment. But still, it was very difficult. It was not easy for women's baseball to be developed because there are concepts like women should play softball. We had that concept too. So like I said, the community teaches players, the passion changed a little bit, and then a little bit, and then a little bit, and then become a big power to change it. That's what I believe. That's what I think. And the people never give up convincing and explain, here and there. There are the teams who is trying to talk other cities, other school. Let's start women's baseball. That's the one key. And we also sometimes women baseball team or women's coach compete against men's coach. That happens, but we never do that. We also ask men to help us. Like we ask NPB to help us. We need the big support. So, we do that. And then we never value the women's player in the men's league. You know what I mean? I'm sorry. Does it make sense? I think
yeah, totally. Yeah.
Sometimes people think the successful woman, baseball player, female player, is to be a successful in the men's league. We don't believe that. We don't believe that. I mean, it's good, but it doesn't develop the sport. That's what we believe. So that's our concept. And then we create the big tournaments, make the environment for girls to be shine, to be aimed at. That's the one thing. So that's why we have all the nationals tournaments in each category. And then also we try to have a league so that they can actually keep having a games in their own regions. So that's the key for us to develop the sport.
I think it's very important. One of my takeaway for the last 5 minutes here, Hiroko, is like having male allies. I think it's quite important. Knowing that we have successful former male professional players, maybe they have daughters, maybe they're just want to be involved, and then use them as much as possible to support your development. So one question here, I don't know if you can let me translate it for you. The question is, do you have any suggestion to promote the popularity of baseball for young girls in an area, in a region where there's no history? There's no known female players, and maybe an idea on how to start from zero.
Okay. One thing is what we are trying to do right now is there is area we don't have any teams for girls, and girls are playing there. We try to educate male coach how wonderful to have girls play in their teams. That's what we're trying to do, and it's been successful. there are many teams that cannot survive without female players because boys quitting baseball and the population of men's baseball player is like really like decreasing, like a roller coaster decreasing. So for that kind of region, they need the female, especially girls on the U12, U15. The girls can still play with boys. So the boys, the coaches, we encourage coaches to have girls players. That's one of the solution for us. And then we also have, because we have a high school, over 40 high school, they have a dormitory and everything, and they got a scholarship for the good players. We encourage those girls, you know, hanging on, you will have the path later on, you know, things like that. I don't know if I'm answering.
Yeah, but I also like your idea you mentioned earlier that was important for me also, is that you don't put too much, or you don't try not to promote too much the female athlete playing with boys or men's, and you rather promote the athletes that are playing in your female organization, your female leagues.
Right.
I think that's quite interesting. I got another question here. You mentioned earlier the number of baseball players. Do you know how many softball players there is in Japan in comparison to?
Maybe 10 times more than
more?
us.
Wow. Okay. Interesting.
And for
okay.
female soccer, I think it's 50,000 players for female football, right?
Yeah. And they're quite good too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how do you, maybe a question for you here, I'm just looking at times here, we've got about another 15 minutes, so time flies. So how do you see the future of women's baseball, whether it is in your country or internationally? Like, what's missing? How do you see the future?
Okay. Well,
oh, you can talk about that too.
Okay. So for the women's professional league, because I got so many questions about women's pro league in Japan, so let me explain. They started in 2009, and then they get really popular and everything. But last year, 36 players, including star players, resigned or terminate the contract with them. There must be some issues over there. In 2020, this year, due to the COVID-19, they had to run the league without spectators, and that damaged them a lot in a big time. For next year, we don't know. I don't think they will be able to continue, unfortunately. We thank the Pro League, to keep doing this for 10 years. It makes a big, big difference, and lots of young girls dream about it, and it's good. But the problem is the 4 teams belong to the league, owned by one sole company, one owner. That is the big risk, and it's not, for me, it's not really healthy. It's great, but when one rich guy, his company go down, then the league is gone. So, we have to think about healthy, sustainable league in the future. So now let me talk about, the future for our players in sport. We are trying to do a branding of women's baseball, grassroots activities, high performance, and global leadership. That's what Women's Baseball Japan is trying to do. Grassroots activities, we are starting the event called Play Catch with Mom. So we encourage all the mothers to come to the field, and we teach you how to play catch. And mothers loves it. And then we make good friends with parents and convince parents like baseball is a wonderful sport for your kids to start with. And same thing, like I said, make friends with the male coaches, how wonderful you coach the female. Andrew, you can actually do the webinars for our male coaches.
Maybe.
Yeah, Japanese. Okay, and then we also try to strengthen the stage of U15, which means many of the girls players hit the wall and have difficulties during that age group. They sometimes give up and go to the softball or different sport. We still need to expand the teams, girls team for U15 throughout the country. I think it has the same problem in globally, not only Japan, everywhere. So yeah, go ahead, Andre.
No, I was going to say, I think we're seeing the same thing here. When you get to the age of 14, 15, you see a big drop in participation, especially with girls' participation in sports in general, not only in baseball, but in sports in general. So I think your objective of making sure that we offer good services for athletes at that stage of development, I think is crucial if we want to retain them and if we want them to be not only good athletes, but active for life also after they're done playing baseball, right? They stay healthy and active and for their own health.
Right, yes. Okay. For the high performance we mentioned, we're trying to make the national team for each category, regardless of whether World Cup of that category is happening or not. So we will form the U15 top teams, U18, university, club team, corporate team. We will try to have the high performance team of each category so that the players keep motivated. And then we're trying to have the new professional league, which is very important for us. And it might not be happening anytime soon, but my belief is the real professional league is NPB, men's professional league, make female teams under their management so that it was stable and they can have a package game, like daytime the girls play and nighttime the men's team play. It creates the new spectators, new sponsors for NPB and concession sales and merchandise. I think it's good for NPB teams to have female teams. Why not?
I was going to say, could you ever imagine if we had that system with Major League Baseball where each team would have under their umbrella their own women's team? That'd be fantastic, right?
Yes. And then we compete each other, right?
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Yep. And then we also think it's important as a world champion, like we have to contribute the world. We do a baseball clinic and webinars for overseas players and teams and federation and help international players to play Japan. Actually, we supported some of the international players come to here to play here, like Shea Lydia White. She played for professional league in 2013, and then some of the Japanese high school opened their gate for overseas exchange students to play baseball here in Japan, and they have a dormitory and everything. So I think 2 or 3 Taiwanese high school player is actually coming to Japan next year to enter the Japanese high school and belong to the girls baseball team. So we're trying to help. Sure, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, like, I know Japan has been a leader in developing, like I said in my introduction, and developing the female game in other countries. I know you sent a couple of players to France this past year to help them continue their development. I know you've helped Taiwan and other Hong Kong as well. So I think it's important if you want to grow the game. I think we should all do our part, right, in order to contribute to the success of another country. And for those watching tonight, you probably don't know, but when we say we, Canada, we played a role with Cuba at some point in 2005. We went there. Yeah, in 2005, we went there saying, like, we're coming, like put a bunch of girls together and then we're going to play. And then since then they've been competing at World Cup. So if we all do our part, I think we can help collectively, globally, the development of the game too.
Yep. You contribute a lot for Cuba.
Yeah.
Everywhere.
So I just had a couple of questions here. We got about, if you're okay, we got about 10 minutes for more questions. One question is, and it's going back to the rubber ball, and I don't know if you have the answer or not, and feel free to let me know if you don't. Do you know if the rubber ball affect the different types of pitches? Let's say the curves and the change up, or is it about the same type? I know it's a really technical question, but do you have an idea on that?
It's different. It's totally different. When our players, national team players, they go to the baseball clinic for the rubber ball teams. When they do the demonstrate, they have some time to adjust it. They always need some time adjust it. So I think it's different. And especially batting, when they swing the bat, I think it's different way for the rubber ball. So it's different. It's different.
And another question also is, what's the perception like of women's baseball globally? Like if we look at the International Federation, do we see a momentum going towards having maybe more events or having more competitions or having more development or more money invested into the game? Like, have you seen that also with your role with the International Federation?
Well, we were actually having the WBSC Women's Baseball Clinic tour. And last year we did it for Asia, and this year was supposed to go Europe. And that was because of this situation, we couldn't go. But we're trying to do that kind of program, visiting the areas, countries, continents. That's what we're going to do. But we were also thinking about webinars, like, so, and we're trying to get a sponsorship to do women's baseball international activities. And we also want to ask national federations what they need so that we can actually meet the demand.
So we're getting to the end here, but like for those people following a little bit women's baseball, we're scheduled for World Cup in March in Mexico. We're not sure if it's going to happen, like, to be honest with everybody, with the situation with COVID right now. The World Cup was scheduled to be in November in Tijuana in Mexico, and now it's been postponed to March. Unfortunately, we don't know the status of the event right now, see if it's going to go or not. If Japan's going to be able to defend their world championship at that time, or if another country can challenge them, maybe Canada this time could have a better shot at the world championship. Currently, just for your information, the world ranking is Japan is number one. Obviously, with 6 World Cup in a row, it's tough to be elsewhere than number one. And people don't know, but Canada is number 2. It's just behind, just in front of Taipei, and then Venezuela, and then you get USA and Australia. So those are the top 6 nations in Canada. So it's always a good opportunity, a good experience. We're always looking forward as Canadians to play Japan, because we know it's going to be hard. We know we cannot make mistakes because we're going to be punished.
Our big threat for us.
Yeah. It's always a good game.
You know our players very well. You know how to play. You know how we play very well. And Canada is always a big threat for us.
Yeah, we try for sure. We try. Like we did with other presenters, when we're alive in person, we like to give a gift to the presenter, but because we are virtual, I don't know if you receive a gift from us.
Yes.
And if so, can we ask you to maybe open the box?
Yeah.
It's like Christmas. Yes.
Okay. Because I have to open.
Yeah.
Wow. All the way from Canada to Japan.
That's good that you got it on time.
So sweet.
And in the meantime, if there's any more questions, please continue to send them our way.
Let me.
It's coming. It's coming.
Oh. Oh. Wow. That's so nice. That's so nice.
Nice. Baseball Quebec hat.
Yeah, congratulations on 15 years anniversary.
Yes, yes. That's, you noticed that at the beginning, right? So
congratulations.
I'm glad you enjoy it. Awesome. Yeah. So Iroko, on behalf of everybody at Baseball Quebec, I'd like to thank you for taking the time, like the last hour, to explain the situation about women's baseball in Japan. I think I learned things. I always learn when I talk to you. And I'm sure people who watch us tonight were able to understand the reality about the rubber ball and the corporate teams and the system of Japanese baseball, which is quite fascinating. So I'd like to thank you for that, and hope 2021 will be an easier year where we can see each other again and continue our discussions about women's baseball. I'm going to switch to French here just to conclude this session.
Merci beaucoup, merci.
Before I let you go. Donc, j'espère que vous avez apprécié la soirée avec Iroko. J'espère que vous avez été en mesure de voir une nouvelle réalité, une autre réalité que la nôtre. Et en même temps, j'en profite pour vous souhaiter, pour vous inviter, pas pour vous souhaiter, pour vous inviter à la dernière soirée demain soir à 20h, encore une fois, où on va rencontrer, où je vais inviter mon collègue de hockey Suède. Donc, on va parler de hockey sur glace. On connaît bien les Vikings, on connaît bien ceux qui sont de ma génération. On se rappelle de Mats Naslund, de Peter Forsberg à Québec. Donc, on va parler de hockey, mais on va parler surtout de développement de l'athlète. On connaît bien le chandail bleu avec les couronnes jaunes qu'on voit lors des Jeux olympiques, les championnats du monde junior, etc. Et demain, donc, on va parler de développement de l'athlète avec mon ami Anders. So, Iroko, thanks again very much for being with us and looking forward to see you again.
Merci beaucoup. Merci.
Alors, merci tout le monde. Et puis, on se donne rendez-vous demain soir pour la dernière de OSE 2020 pour cette semaine. Alors, bonne soirée tout le monde.